From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for another edition of The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max on Buzz TV. Hope you had a great week out there, Jacksonville, believing, creating, hustling, and never giving up. Man, great time to be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. The New England Patriots came in, and we kicked that butt up and down the field. A great victory for the hometown team. Hey, but we got to keep it in perspective now. Week 2, it's over. Now we got the Tennessee Titans coming up. We got to smash them in the face and show them who's boss. I think the guys are up for it. Speaking of Jags, one of my guests today is Frank Frangie. He is the voice of the Jaguars, a legendary guy in the TV and radio business here in town. And my good friend Greg Conley, owner of Caribbean Connection in Jacksonville Beach, evolving, doing great work right there in a great part of the beaches area. So stay tuned. We're coming your way right here on The Horse's Mouth on Buzz TV. Proud to introduce my title sponsor for The Horse's Mouth. It's Ewing Real Estate, a great group of people who can help you with any commercial real estate project out there. Whether you're developing land, you're building an office or an apartment complex, or you need some help with financing, we can assist you. Give us a call at 354-5573 or visit us online at alanewing.com. All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here on Buzz TV from Tommy Max. Great to be here. I'm joined by my good friend Frank Frangie, 31 years in the business of sports broadcast. And Frank, thanks for coming on the show and welcome to Tommy Max.
I love being in the bar. I don't know why it took so long to get here. You kidding me?
I know.
It felt like it took 31 years to get here. I'm happy. This is fantastic. Thanks for having me, Tom.
Episode 21, Frank.
How about
Episode
that?
21.
Great to be here.
So
Great
to have you. Did you always have the knack? I mean, when you were younger, high school and college, I know you got into journalism right out of school, and then evolved, but what were you like younger?
Yeah, I was going to pitch in the big leagues, Tom. I had everything but the talent, okay? I had the drive, the desire.
Yeah. No arm?
And I think when I figured out probably in the 10th grade that I probably wasn't pitching in the big leagues,
okay.
I always wanted to be a sports writer. Back then, the writing side was all the rage, and I knew then. I knew when I was probably in the 10th grade, there was this little program the Times Union had where you could be in school and write. And I did a lot of that, and I went to school to be a sports writer.
Yep.
Did that, got out of Florida in 1980 and was a sports writer for a while, and then I realized the electronic side was probably my thing.
Right.
And got into radio, did both radio and sports writing starting in 88.
Yeah.
Did that for 5 years and then been radio only ever since. I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah, you're good at it, obviously. You've been doing it forever and well known. That drive time's a big time. Everybody wants it. I remember doing the morning drive way back when. And, do you ever feel like, oh, here we go, I got to put another show together? How am I going to, do you still, you've been doing it for so long. Can you do it in your sleep, Frank? Or is it, I've really got to, put a show together today?
It's funny, Tom. I don't think you can do it in your sleep. But after 31 years, you kind of get a knack for how to do it. But I'll tell you this. I love afternoon drive because I do believe there's a challenge to it, Tom. I think by the time I went on Monday, after the Jags had beaten the Patriots, everybody else had weighed in. Right. So by 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, now I say 4 o'clock, we now start at 3. By 3 o'clock, you better have a little bit of a different take than everybody else has. Right. And I hope we do that. You don't know if you've always accomplished it, but over all these years, it's mostly just been all afternoon drive. I did 2 hours of morning. I did 2 years of mornings.
Yep.
This 1 year with Prisco, that almost drove me out of the business.
Right.
The second year I did one full year with Baselli. Right. That did drive me out of the mornings. Okay, went back to the afternoons. But I've done it ever since, and I've had a blast doing it. And but I think that's the challenge. Afternoon drive, you got to be a little bit different, and I love doing it.
Well, you got to bring not only the content but the personality. That's what you are, right? That's what your team is with Martin Arnold and now Tara Lagerman and that gang. So that's part of the gig.
Yeah, we have Brent Martineau, Hayes Carline, and Tara Lagerman. I'm disappointed. I didn't want to see this happen, but Tara's already better than all of us, and I didn't want to see that happen. Okay, so but she does a great job. We have a fun time in the afternoon.
All right, so you're doing the radio, obviously, on 1010XL. Great company. You're also the voice of the Jags.
Yeah, how about that?
You do a great job. I listen to you guys. I mostly watch the TV, but when I'm in the car, I'm listening to the radio. Trust me, if there's something that needs to be grabbed for some reason, Dad's got to go get it.
I get it.
The football season. But how do How do you balance really giving your audience, an unbiased, as best you can, opinion, about what's going on, where the team's at? Obviously, when they're winning, it's easier to talk about them, and that's a great thing. But how do you balance that?
It's funny, Tom. When I got the gig, one of the things we talked about is they're hiring a guy that is a talk show host too. And talk show hosts have to be honest and upfront. Right. And when the team struggles, and the team struggled for a while. I think one thing that happened, and Tom, we've been friends a long time. I'm not particularly caustic. I think that helped a little bit. I'm not a talk show host that's always banging on somebody.
Right.
I think if I had been, that would have made it harder.
Yep.
And I think they knew that when they hired me.
I learned that the hard way, Frank. But I'm not changing.
No, don't change. This guy stays the same. But I think they knew when they hired me kind of my personality. I think that was part of it. And I want them to be good. I want to be I've always been a homer in the afternoons. I make no apologies for that. I root for the Jaguars. I root for the Gators. I root for the teams. And at the same time, I'm going to be a homer a little bit in the booth. Now, I hope we call it. I love working with Baselli and Lagerman.
Yeah, how do you make that work?
You know what?
I mean, I'm talking. Look, I'm a meathead. We know this.
Yeah, right.
Baselli's a big time meathead. Lagerman's not really a meathead. He's kind of a smart guy, but they're not too far off. How do you manage that? How do you balance those guys?
The best thing is they're both really good.
Yeah, they are good.
Just keep that between us. I don't want anyone to know I'm saying that. Right. But they're both really good, and they're both really good guys. And so that helps. They're different. Yep. Jeff is more straight-laced. Jeff's going to have his stats, his preparation, his boards done 3 hours before. Tony's not.
Right.
Okay. Tony's going to wing it a little bit more. Yep. But they're great chemistry because their personalities are different.
Yep.
Tony's got a little silly side, a crazy side. Yep. Jeff's a little more straight-laced. The balance is fantastic. I can tell you this. It is a joy being in it. It's an honor and a joy being in it with those two knuckleheads, and because and they are that.
Yep.
But they're wonderful guys, and they're both really good at it.
They're good at it,
man. They're good guys, and they're good at it.
Not every former player's good at it, but when you get a former player that knows the game and can really deliver it to that audience in a way that they can just understand, like a lay person, right? You don't get too complicated. That's when you got something good, and those two guys they're just like that.
They are, Tom. And I hope a good play-by-play guy knows his role is to explain what happened, to try and paint the picture, and then lay out. Yep. Let the smart guys that played and sacrificed, as you did and as they did, explain what happened and why it happened. Let me call it and then get out of the way. I think one of the most important things a play-by-play guy can do, call it, paint the picture, then get out of the way.
It's called the setup, Frank.
That's right. And then get out of the way.
Tossing the ball up for
him. So hopefully you did that.
You do a great job. Hang in there. We're going to come back. More with Frank Frangie right here at Tommy Max on The Horse's Mouth on Buzz TV. The Horse's Mouth also brought to you by Stellar. Taking solutions further. Check them out online at stellar.net. All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max on Buzz TV. Of course, Frank Frangie is here, and my good friend Greg Conley, owner, founder, and president of Caribbean Connection in Jacksonville Beach. Greg, welcome to the bar, my friend.
Great to be with you guys.
Two Pittsburgh guys. How about that?
How about two Pittsburgh guys in a bar? There's a lot of jokes
in Jacksonville, right?
For sure.
For a long time. You both have been here a long time. And, this show is, the tagline is sports meets business meets. I've always believed sports is like and I'm a sports guy, and so are you, shortstop, by the way. You're looking at a high school shortstop right there, which says a lot, right? That the stud players play shortstop or center field, or they play quarterback or something like that. But sports and what you learn as an athlete, everything you go through, it translates to business. It translates to life. It's just a good cornerstone for men and women to be a part of.
Well, what you learn too, and I really believe this, sport, number one, you learn to compete. You better compete. You also learn about teamwork. Sure. If there's two things, if you want to make it in life, there's two things you better know. You better know how to compete because things are going to go badly, and you have to compete through adversity, right? And you have to understand teamwork. Sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you have to be selfless and put the team first. And good teammates who know how to compete are good in business, right?
Absolutely, and I think there's a team in the NFL from Pittsburgh that would agree with that right now.
Yeah.
All the adversity going on there, selfish diva players right now.
Right.
That team's 0-1-1.
With that being said, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, how do you feel about the O-linemen, some players, coming out publicly, saying, hey, Le'Veon should be here, they're not very happy, et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts?
I put it on the coach. He should have had everyone prepared for those questions. There should have been a stock answer. Because what ends up happening whenever you create that controversy? You're answering a million other questions all week that don't have anything to do with the game, right? This week's game.
And I can tell you this, Tom. I'm actually born here, but my family's all from Johnstown, which is near Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I was diehard Steeler fan guy until I got the Jags gig. Now, I've always followed the Jags, rooted for the Jags, but the Steelers are the team I followed closely. Yep. 5 years ago when I got the Jags gig, I quit following them as closely. I'm still a big Pirates fan, by the way, but I don't follow so I don't read all the stories anymore, and I'm not following it. So it's more following it from afar. But I get the impression, Greg, you probably follow it closer than I do, that I do think he's on the verge of losing that team. As good as good as Mike Tomlin is, I get the verge. I think he's been a great coach. His numbers are one of the best winning percentages all time. But I wonder if there's a culture change needed there. And again, I'm following it not nearly as close as I once did, but you get that read. I do.
I always thought the Steeler organization, like the Packers, like others, like New England, like hopefully here with Doug Marrone and Tom Coughlin, that was the culture. Right. Whoever coach came in, it didn't matter. We have a culture, right? You know, as far as, look, this is what's expected out of you as a coach, out of your team, out of your players. This is, I mean, you're talking Chuck Noll, you're talking Bill Cowher. You got to follow that suit. I'm not saying you can't have your own little way about it, but at the end of the day, you better be holding everybody accountable in that locker room.
What happens today in today's sports world is when you're a really good player isn't on board, you're in trouble.
Right.
Le'Veon Bell is their really good player. Now, Antonio Brown is a really good player. Now, do you cut him? Probably not. Not today. You don't. Yep. Do you pay him? Well, they've decided not. So what do they do? That's the question.
Well, I think the first things first. Brown's locked up. The only thing they can do with Bell is wait for him to report.
That's right.
So their hands are tied. Yeah. And if Bell sits out 10 games and comes back, this qualifies as a year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which means it eats up another tag year for him, and he can be an unrestricted free agent next year. And I think that was the plan initially. Give him another 400 touches this year. The window's closing. Your quarterback's getting long in the tooth.
Yep.
Try to get a Lombardi trophy out of this team. Yep. And it's backfired because it began with what Bell did.
Well, it's still early in the year, right? We got a lot of more football left to be played. So two Pittsburgh guys, you love the Jags. I know you like them too, but Pittsburgh's your game. They're going to meet. Will they meet again in the playoffs? And who out of the two will go to the Super Bowl this year?
The Jags will be there. Can Pittsburgh get there? The Jags are one of the.
I assume they're going to be there.
Yeah, and we've always assumed it. But I got to tell you, I think the Jags are one of the 2-3 best teams. I'm not worried. Jacksonville will be playing in January.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Pittsburgh's playing in January.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure.
It's still a long season, guys.
Yeah, I mean, and it is. But it doesn't feel. And again, I have not watched either game. Okay, so when they're on a national game, I'll watch it. But when they're playing opposite the Jags. But I don't get the read that they're what they once were.
Yeah.
Well, they tied Cleveland, who was 1-31 going into it, and they gave up 6 touchdown passes.
6.
Patrick,
6
to a first-year starter.
It's still 6.
You know what though? But look at even New England, and not to discredit the Jags win because it was great, but they do have these games from time where they don't perform well. The other team just kicks their butt. Right. They come down to Florida in September, and they don't typically fare like Miami beats them when they're not even any good. So who knows how they're going to finish? Who knows how anybody's going to finish? But I would like to think that out of the 4 teams we just mentioned, Jags, Pitt, KC, or the 3 teams we just mentioned, they're going to be vying for a playoff.
Yeah, we'll see. I really do like this Kansas City team because they can score. That's today's NFL.
I like Andy Reid.
He's a great coach. Can you outscore we are in the can you outscore the other guy era? Yeah. I love Kansas City's team.
That's right.
Andy Reid.
He's great. And hey, cheers to Andy Reid.
Cheers.
All right, there you go. Thanks for coming on board.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me, Tom.
You do a great job.
Thank you, buddy.
People love listening to you. I'm one of those people.
I appreciate it.
All right, Greg, you hang in there. More to come right here on The Horse's Mouth. We get up close and personal next, right here on Buzz TV.
This is a Clydesdale. Despite what you see in the commercials, he doesn't play football. He won't bring me a cold one, as much as I wish he would. He does not fall easily in love with his kitty cat pals, of which he has none. He's just really good at being a horse on this ranch. I run with help from my banker, a Synovus, Bank of Here. Really, Bruce?
All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max. It's time once again for Up Close and Personal with my good friend Greg Conley, from Caribbean Connection. Greg, once again, man, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Always great to be with you,
You and I go way back, just so the audience knows. We go way, way back, at least 23, 24, 25 years, somewhere in that range.
We got a lot of history. I think we have a lot in common.
We do.
We're kind of cut from the same cloth, I guess you could say.
Yeah, one day we'll do a show on those suck it up road trips with the RV and everything. Me and Greg driving through, where were we? Was that Texas, where it was freezing and we're the only ones up and we didn't know where we were going. And,
on our way to Dallas for the Steelers and Packers Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, absolutely.
Worst winter in, I think, Dallas recent history.
Yeah, they weren't ready for it.
We didn't have a whole lot of experience driving the Clark W. Griswold rig there either, did we?
No, you're right about that. Once we figured out that propane actually heats the RV, we were much better off. Thanks to our buddy Spinner out there, right? Thanks, Spinner.
Yeah, Spinner Holland.
Well done, mate. You saved it for us, no doubt about it. All right, you, the founder of Caribbean Connection. I know it well. I've been going there. I've got my tattoos there. I shop there. I just love the entire atmosphere about it. You're a guy from Pittsburgh. You've been down here a long time. You and your brothers owned it at one time, and then you took it over solely about 23 years ago. Talk about that, particular time where you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. It's going to be mine, and I'm going to make it or break it.
Well, I think we had a lot of things, and I was really blessed to have older brothers and guys that I worked well with. We did everything together for so long, and we had multiple family businesses and properties, and it got to a point where there were just so many things we were doing, it was time we segregated certain businesses.
Okay.
And this was one of them. And it was really good timing for me. I was recently married, just had a stepson who was 3 years old, so became an instant father. And it was a pretty amazing time. A lot of work from the beginning. But I'll tell you, this community embraced us 28 years ago when we got here.
Right.
Opened the business. 3 hardworking guys, really didn't have a clue of what they were doing. Not a huge plan, but we knew we wanted to treat people well. We wanted to keep it with a little bit of an edge to it, and it just evolved. It was never a grand plan the first 5 years. We were just trying to get the bills paid.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the greatest stories is when you guys, I think, went up to New York to seal the deal with the Bob Marley family to represent Bob Marley and his likeness, his image, and everything. I remember you saying, "You're like, Tom, we didn't really know exactly what was going to happen, but you came away with an incredible deal." And I think that really propelled Caribbean Connection, not just locally, and you're a big guy on local. We'll talk about that, but just from a branding perspective, that really helped you guys. You have the tattoos, you have the piercings, but then you have women's clothing, you have men's clothing, you got great sandals. Great tip, the best vintage rock and roll T-shirts you can get, and other great T-shirts are right here at Caribbean Connection. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and our diversity and having a special, unique blend of products and services over the year, I think has really been our key point of difference within the industry and the community. And it's changed. For a while we didn't do tattooing and piercing the first 5 years. We brought it in to get people into our store to buy our wares. And 1998, we started selling a ton of music. 2003, Napster came on, and we saw the writing on the wall. Pre-iPad,
that's right,
pre-iPhone, and we got out of music, expanded the tattoo department, added more artists. So I think right now, if you really were to look at us, we are a lot more boutique style. We pride ourselves in being the finest tattoo and piercing shop in town. You can read the reviews online. We've got amazing, skilled guys at that. I deserve no credit for that. Let me just say.
They are talented.
There's
no
tremendous.
question about it. Let me show my favorite one right there. I got a flex on there, but that's a Caribbean Connection special. I've had it for a very long time. But well, listen, man, you're big time into the local scene out there in Jacksonville Beach, Jacksonville as a whole. As we wrap up here on Up Close and Personal, tell the audience how important it is for you as a business owner locally to support and encourage and promote other local businesses.
Well, I think the thing for us is we've seen it change our business over the years. Our demographic used to flood into our shop in the 90s. Walk in, it would be packed most of the time, people shopping. Nowadays, that same demographic sometimes doesn't get off the couch, does their shopping from their phone. The landscape of the world has changed. As I always make the analogy, McDonald's didn't start selling a ton of salads and coffees because they wanted to change.
That's right.
You adapt or you die. So for us, it was always local, local, local. And in the last 10 to 15 years, when stores like Target and Urban Outfitters, these giant stores, started selling hip merchandise, it makes it more challenging. So you focus on treating the locals right, supporting other local businesses that maybe you only have indirect competition with. And it's been quite a groundswell over the last 10 years in our community.
That's great, brother. That's a great story. You continue to do it well. Look in that camera and tell people where they can find. I know where you're at, but tell the ladies and gentlemen, the kids out there, where Caribbean Connection's located at.
Well, unless you're colorblind and you're driving down 3rd Street, you can't miss us. We've got beautiful local artists' artwork all over our building, and we're located in South Jacksonville Beach, right on A1A, at the corner of 8th Avenue South and A1A. We're open 7 days a week. You can also shop online with us at Caribbean-Connection.com. Check us out on Facebook, read our reviews, and it's a pretty unique place. We're not.
That's cool.
We're excited at the customer base. We're on generation 3 of certain customers.
Awesome.
So we got grandparents and grandkids.
Congratulations, brother.
Thanks
for coming on the show.
Thanks.
All right, Greg Conley right here on Up Close and Personal. More to come live from Tommy Max.
What makes the Tom Bush Family Dealership so special?
It's because we treat our customers like family.
I like the fact that I can come and call him and say, oh, this is what's going on.
We're here for you. That's a cool thing.
It feels like that. It feels like I'm a family member of the BMW now. What's my next car going to be, the M?
No, an 8 Series Coupe.
Ooh, really?
Google it.
Okay, I'll Google it.
We invite you to join our growing family.
Visit one of our 7 locations today and experience the Tom Bush difference.
All right, time once again for Up Close and Personal. Join me now here at Tommy Max's Jeffrey Hill. He's from Racinate and Hammer Price. They are a quality of life advisory group. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you, Jeffrey, and welcome to Tommy Max, man. It's always a pleasure to have a new face here. All right, quality of life advisors. What is that?
Right. So the foundation of what we do is the typical financial advisory role, which I've done for a very long time, had a lot of success. But the objective is for clients to have more than just the financial wealth, but it's the cognitive wealth. So it's about having both. And so we're able to use the financial freedom that they've achieved on their own from all their long hours and hard work and smart decisions, but we use that enables us to help the clients craft their quality of life. And so it starts to get into, like Frank was mentioning earlier, it was perfect where he was talking about the psychology of a 20-year-old and all that money. And so we're working with the psychology of 70-year-olds that have millions of dollars. Right? And so it's still challenging to be in retirement, just like it may be challenging with all the pressure of being a new star athlete.
So you must assess your clients, right? So how you can help them cognitively, right? So is it like, hey, not only are we going to invest your money, but here's some ideas that maybe you like doing while you're retired, right? Or keep that mind healthy, keep that body healthy. It's really a wellness program for your clients.
Right, it's both. So
that makes sense.
A lot of times you'll see articles and conversations about what's more important, the motivation or the discipline, or is it better to work harder or work smarter? And it's the same theme where the answer is usually both. Is it more important to be financially wealthy or cognitive wealth? And it's really both. And so we have a strong emphasis on both.
Okay, so how do you help them cognitively? Do you have experts that are part of your your firm?
We have trained psychological experts as part of our financial advisory firm. So it's a new industry. We're leading the way, and it's exciting. But we also have licensed personal fitness trainers. We have
that's a big part of feeling good, man. No doubt about it.
Right. So the physicality of it is huge, and it's all interconnected with the cognitive side from our point of view, where if we use the analogies, like you said, whether it's the extremes of football, yoga, rowing.
Right.
You've got the organized chaos in football. You're stretching out of your comfort zone in yoga.
Yep.
And with the rowing, it goes back to that both again. So obviously, if you're just overcompensating one side, you're going nowhere. You're just going in circles.
Symmetrical.
Right. You're not accomplishing anything. And so it's an extension. So when there's that neural harmony, we call it, or the flow, the cognitive wealth, the physicality is an expression of that. It comes out of that. And so it's not just the rich financially, but they're enriched, and it's working together symbiotically. And we have an art consultant professional, and the art was new to me.
Okay.
So that opened a dormant part in my brain as a numbers guy for decades.
Okay. And what, investing in art?
Investing in art, exactly. And also having it for fun, like you said. But the questions we'll ask, it won't just be how much money are you making, your assets. It's do you have a lot of traffic? What friction is in your life? What's holding you back?
What makes you happy?
Right, what makes you flourish? What makes you have a zest for life? What makes you feel alive? And the clients that I've worked with that have that wellness, they're going for the morning walk. They're doing the water aerobics. I have one client, he won't let me call it a bike race. He'll always go with his son, and he keeps correcting me. It's like, no, it's a bike ride, and it'll be 50 miles, but it's active, the activity, because the activity's in there, and they're expressing it, and they're the happiest clients, the active ones.
I tell you what, my mother's 87, Joni, she watches this program. Hey, Ma, she lives down here. She's in great health, and she's not wealthy, but she does fine, but she's in great health, and she attributes it to walking every day and stretching every single day, and never smoking. That's a big one. But it's true. If you feel good, I get it. It's a little deep for a meathead like me, but I get it, because when you feel good about yourself, everything's better. You're happier. You're more confident. I get it with what you're trying to do. I think it's fabulous.
Thank you. And you mentioned it yourself on the first episode. Why you were active and working out was when you came up with this show. So
absolutely. All the endorphins go crazy when you're working out. That's for sure. All right, great. Well, Jeffrey, thanks for joining us, man. This is really cool. I get to meet a lot of cool people in different, the types of businesses. This one's very unique, but I get it, and I wish you the best of luck. So how do people find you? Look right into that camera number 2 and tell them how to find it.
So the easiest way, because we have a complicated name, if you type in Hammer Price Pontevedra on the internet searches, that's going to take you right to us, which is Racine and Hammer Price. But just remember Hammer Price Pontevedra, and then you'll see all the links to our website, to me, to our employees, and so forth. So thank you.
All right, great, man. Great having you on. Best of luck. All right, more to come right here on The Horse's Mouth on Buzz TV. Brought to you by All right, what a great show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Frank Frangie for joining me. Man, been doing it a long time. I tell you, having a drive time afternoon, or any morning or afternoon, that time slot's no joke. And Frank does a good job, does a great job calling the Jag games. Hope you enjoyed the little inside with Loggeman and Baselli and how he manages all that. That was good stuff. Jags on a great run, no doubt about it. We'll see how they can finish. Greg Conley from Caribbean Connection. I've known Greg a long time, man. They continue to evolve, continue to grow. It's a great place, so check them out. A nice boutique shop right there in Jacksonville Beach. So that's going to do it for us this week. Hey, Tennessee Titans are up next. We're going to punch them in the mouth and get it done. It's going to be a lot of fun being a Jag fan once again. Make sure you stay cool out there, Jacksonville, and be safe. We'll see you next time right here on Buzz TV.